I'm going to do a quick message before running out of here and going to church. Talking with a lot of people at church and even on the street, at school and stuff like that. And even in my own experiences as new Christians, we have this expectation that we come when we come to Jesus and try to know him and have a relationship with him, we expect movement like right away. Two things. When you come to him, you have to fully submit. It's not just something that you can toe the line with or walk the fence with. You have to really submit, and you have to do that from a genuine place with a good heart and like truly intentionally mean it inside of you. If you know anybody that's been in bad relationships, anybody who's been through addiction and stuff like that, and they hit that rock bottom, and then they give up. They literally just, not like in a suicidal, I shouldn't say that, but not in a harm yourself kind of a way. But I'm just mean like intentionally just give up. Like what happens is like people have this expectation that the Lord is going to move right away as soon as you say, I submit, I'm done. I give up. And that's not how it works. You have to confess through the mouth and intentionally mean it. It's not just something that you can say, and not truly intentionally mean, in your heart of hearts. You really have to do. When I gave up my life to him is when he really started moving stuff. And he moved things in a way that I have never experienced in my entire life. He just crammed and jammed so like people in sermons and music and topics of him and stuff like that, like all day long. It was so overwhelming, but in a good way. And I had to like step back from a few things, and because I was so intentional in the way that I would, when I said I was giving up, like I was so intentional with it that I was literally done. Like I no longer wanted to control part of my life, and that was a process in of itself. I was trying to let go of control. I didn't necessarily know how that looked like, what that looked like, and how it felt. But he was working that in my life. Other people, because they're not like intentional internally, they say, "Yeah, I'm done. I give up." Like let's, where are all these miracles? Where are all these signs and wonders? And that's not how he works. You have to be patient, because in the patience, in the seasons, in the lessons, in the hardships, in the fires, and the trials, and all these things, that's where that true work is. That's where the blessings come from. That's where the favor comes from. In the molding of us, in the molding of our spirit, the molding of who we were into who he has called us to be, he has called us to be for the purpose that he has designed us for. That's where that stuff comes from. Is being patient. You have to give him time to work. It takes time to make a cake. It takes time to smoke a tri-tip. It takes time to work on a vehicle if you're doing motor work or something like that. It takes time. You can't just snap your fingers and this stuff like instantaneously happens. So it just, if you're watching this and you are in a time in your life where you're tired of repeating the same things over and over and over again, just like the definition of insanity, you're expecting a different result every time you get out of a failed relationship and you get right back into another relationship with somebody else with no time in between. If you continue to use, or you're like suffering through anxiety and depression, and you continue to do the things that you're doing to maintain that cycle, you're not gonna see the blessing in that. It's not gonna stop. So I implore you to get on your knees and confess through the mouth, fully submit. It's scary, it's terrifying, it's hard. When I did it, there were weeks where I was functional in the daytime, and at night I was not, because I'd come home and I'd cry, and it was a tearing of the flesh. It was my the way I look at it is like, part of me is the flesh, and that's tied to the earth, the world, and to my soul, I'm tied to the Father. And because I lived so long of the world, that when I gave him my life, there was this tearing. Like, I see part of me just tearing. And I was tearing the flesh from my spirit, from my soul, and I was leaving that behind, and I was moving into a new life. And it was hard. It hurt. It spiritually hurt. But on the other side of that was a lot of like good stuff, a lot of blessings. He took me from a job that I really didn't like, a job that I didn't belong in. That's not where my calling is. He removed a lot of people from my life, and that's hard because, I grew up mostly without a dad. So there were some relationship issues, some parental issues, some insecurities. And so I was one of those people who continued to move from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next, seeking love, security, adoration, and validation from other people. And so through that stripping, that tearing of the flesh, I was leaving people behind. I was leaving an old life behind, and I was being remade new. And once I got through that, that's when the blessings started happening. And my life hasn't been perfect. You're going to have highs and lows in the faith. We're constantly being tested. We're constantly going through trials. We're constantly going through fires. He's tested us, always tests us through our faith, through so many different things. And we don't have, like, one of the things that he put on me when he called me was this massive sense of urgency. We do not have a lot of time. We really don't. If your eyes are open in this world and you see what's going on in the world that we live in, the Middle East, the fires, people shooting up in and out, these are things of Satan, and this is his reign. This is his plane, his plateau, his kingdom, if you will. We don't have a lot of time, because when Jesus comes, hearts are going to be hardened, and it's going to be harder to let go of the hardened, the calloused heart that you have and come to faith. Now is the time. Now is the time to come to the Lord, have a relationship with him, seek him every day. Leave your old self behind and come to the new. Allow yourself to submit, give yourself to the Lord, have a new life. This gift that he has, this gift of grace, is an eternal gift, and it is free. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to do anything for it other than submit and profess through the mouth that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. He died on the cross. He went to the grave. He was resurrected 3 days later. And in order to get to the Father, you have to get through the Son. And that's how you do it. And just give your life to him. Submit. It's an amazing thing. It's terrifying, but like, you get through it, and it's awesome. Like, how I see people and view people is completely different. My entire outlook on life, how positive I am, everything has changed. It's done a complete 180. And I want you to have what I have. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I really hope and pray that these messages really help and resonate and move people and encourage people to seek the Father, to seek the Son, have a relationship with him. We don't have a lot of time. We really don't. There's no better time than the present to submit and have a life with Jesus Christ. Anyway, I got to hustle. I got to get to church. I hope you guys have an amazing Sunday. like I said, profess through the mouth, submit, fully submit. Don't just say it, act on it. Jesus will meet you halfway. There are no other gods out there that are like Jesus. You have to work to get to that mountaintop. You climb halfway to that mountaintop, Jesus meets you halfway, and then he walks you up the rest of the way. But yeah, have an amazing Sunday. Love your family, love the people around you. Be blessed, and love you.